We all can be mortals.
Welcome, mere mortalites, to another episode of the Mere Mortals Musings, number 495 here on the
5th of October.
5th of October, 2024. Shout out to Butters the dog. It's his birthday.
Butters! Happy birthday, Butters.
Today.
Yep.
He's turned 2. Musings episodes are where we dive into a particular topic. We give practical philosophy, some thoughts, advice, goals. And today was an episode we kind of were going to do a couple of weeks ago, or something related to this, which was talking about my Comic-Con events.
Correct.
And how that ended up happening. But transpired that we could actually turn this into something we've both been working on, which is some manifesting slight tweaks to our long-term goals, or at least for myself, for Juan as well. And why we did that, and probably just like the power of words, and why you want to choose particular words for particular things, and how I guess just how that changes the sense or overall of your direction. If you're got a thought in your head of like, I want to be like this, or this is what I want to achieve or strive for. Yeah, sure, you can overanalyze things and be like nitpicking every word. But I think it's worthwhile, especially if it's something that you're repeating to yourself very often, that can really transform into actual actions as well. So,
for sure.
Do you want me to just go over why a couple of little tweaks I've made to my long-term goals?
Yeah, let's go with the example. Give some examples as to like what the tweaks are. Because I haven't done the tweaks yet. Yeah. Because I'm in the new set of annual goals, which has still been done in the same old way that I've done for quite a few years. And again, for a reminder for people, I go from like an eminent human being levels, which then goes down to annual goals, which then goes down to monthly goals. That's my cycle, I guess, of how I do it. And Kyrin does a very similar thing, but just with like very like top, like there's eight sections of his life in terms of like his aims and whatnot. So
I've got this book here. This is my book that I have kept for a long time. So I'm trying to think what's in the very start of it. I'm actually not sure. So it initially was a Spanish book. So this I would have used, I think, first in maybe when I was still at university. So maybe in 2013 was probably the first time I ever used this book. And then it's just kind of like over the years I've graduated into other random stuff, and I've got separate Spanish books. But I remember using this once, and this was in 2016 where I started my long-term goals draft. And so it was like, here's some random stuff. What I want to achieve: a framework of short to long-term goals that are ambitious but also realistic. They need to reflect the values that I believe and speak to the innermost desires that I harbor. These goals must be what I kind of truly think is best for myself and are true to the innate nature of my being, moral character I aspire towards. And so then I've got like a sheet of paper that I can read, systematic breakdown of different areas of my life that I want to improve on, introspection of my character, identify weaknesses, things like this. So this was my first draft. And Juan, what do you reckon of this? I'll show it to the camera in a second, but it's got Kyrin. He's got abs and some guns there as well. Big penis going on. What do you reckon of that drawing of myself as well? That's
actually not bad. That's not bad.
Self-reflective drawing here as well. It's that one just there. So yeah, random stuff in here. But this was where I was first trying out a bunch of things, like just random like notes, partner, relationships, financial health. This is where it first started coming up. And some of them like I would add, some I would quit out. And then I had long-term goal draft. Then it was like long-term goal draft 2.0. And then I settled on long-term goal draft 3.0.
Okay, 3.0 was the one.
So the partner one, for example, was find a lifelong partner that will be the worthy mother of my children and a feminine counterbalance to my masculinity. Now, this was written when I was definitely much more in like the game world. There was a lot more emphasis on feminine, masculine, things like that. And I've now tweaked that, and my...
So we're up to 4.0 now?
Whoa. Don't get ahead of yourself, Juan. So I had 4.0, 2025 remix.
Yep.
And then you can see here, like I've started with something and then I'm like, that didn't sound right exactly. I want to change that word. Oh, these things didn't make sense. And so almost all of them, apart from the financial one, I ended up tweaking after writing something again. So now
5.0.
we're on 5.0, 2025 remix. Watch out. Not P. Diddy, but where's the other rappers? The Reignition remix, R. Kelly.
R. Kelly.
Watch out, R. Kelly.
Out, R. Kelly.
I'm coming for you in jail. And this is Bond with a lifelong companion that complements my traits and can see us through thick and thin. So it's changed it in certain ways. The most important word being, instead of find, it's bond. Because finding, essentially, and this was something I always kind of thought about, which is, okay, well, if I find her, then it's already done. Like, the goal's done. There's nothing left to do. Like, I found her.
Yep.
But, that's not really reflective of real life in the sense that, yeah, sure, you need to meet a partner, but then comes all of the other stuff, which is, where you'll spend all the time with her, bonding over things, creating memories, creating family. So I really wanted just to emphasize that, okay, finding is a very important part to it, but that's kind of just like, that would be like an Olympic sprinter going like, I want to achieve like the quickest off the blocks or something like that, which is like, yeah, sure, that's really important. But then you've got a whole 100 meters to run after that.
Other parts for it.
And if you want to win or do really well at it, you can't just focus on this initial bit. It needs to be the drive phase, the, getting into your stride, the pumping of the arms or whatever, all the other things that they have to focus on. So that was just one where I'm like, okay, it's a subtle word, finding into bonding. And then the other stuff was just, getting rid of things which didn't really matter to me anymore. I don't care about masculine traits or things that's complementing my traits, because a lot of my traits aren't masculine, they're feminine. And, I mentioned this in the Discord where it was like, almost all of my hobbies are more feminine in nature. For like, I enjoy cooking. The amount of time like I spend exercising, sure, but I'm not like lifting heavy weights or anything. It's like more artistic, perhaps. Reading, and I enjoy doing ballet and fucking Pilates. So a lot of those sorts of things are not masculine. So why am I writing like?
Yeah, I get you. Yeah.
In my head, I already knew it didn't matter that much, but it was worth changing a lot of these things. So I can go over the others if you feel like, but that was one of those ones where it was just like, it's worth changing that one word, let alone all the other things, just to reflect, okay, it puts me less in a mind state of kind of like searching, finding, that being the main emphasis, where it's like, now it's like, okay, yes, I need to do that, but it's also the bonding aspect, and that plays into it. So, yeah.
Yeah. What's another one that changed a lot, or like in comparison to, because you said the finance one that didn't change really much at all. What other one were you like, oh yeah, we had to update this quite a bit?
Probably the spirituality is the biggest change out of all of them, I'd say. So it used to be create a spiritual framework to ponder the mysteries of the universe, guide me through tough times ahead. Now I've changed that to maintain joy and optimism in the face of adversity, suffering, and cruelty. Okay. So that one's less like, I feel I've done a lot of this searching for different types of philosophies, religions, and things like that. I've now, I would say, experienced an event which has made, Mum's passing, and the way she passed was brutal. And that has given me more of an appreciation of like, okay, I can see how that could have gone worse for myself. It didn't. But, I've got a dad I care about, got friends and family, other family members. Those things are probably going to happen again. Hopefully not too soon, but, who knows? The emphasis should now be on, kind of maintaining a joy and optimism and
in the face of
acknowledging like, okay, these bad things can happen and will happen at some point, and less about like pondering the mystery of the, pontificating on the mysteries of the universe. Like, sure, there's a lot of mysteries, but like, that when I read that, it makes me think like, oh, pondering the mysteries of the universe. So I should probably be like, what's out in the stars and that sort of thing. So that's probably the biggest one.
One of the things, like when you're reflecting back on that, 'cause I'm just thinking like generally here, in that the way that you've got them written down right now, would they have served you better than the original 3.0 draft that you wrote, 2016? If you'd written 5.0 remix back in 2016, would it have been better, worse, neutral? Because I was going to say, in my mind, and this is the whole crux of when you do goal setting or you review how someone has done certain things, it's like you can't do the actions or the behaviors or whatever of the person where they are today. You have to be looking back at what they were aiming for or doing way back at the point either they were like as much similar to you or how they went from 0 to 1 or from 10 to 12, not from 98 to 100, right? Like it's very, very different.
I can think of one which wouldn't. So the health one, for example. So it used to be build strength and maintain a balance of good to bad inputs into my system. So that's the building strength was right at the start. And, this was when I had been going to the gym for a couple of years, but I was still pretty skinny. I had gotten over like the worst body dysmorphia stuff from when I was a teenager of feeling weak. But there was still this emphasis on like, I need to get stronger. That was the big one. Now it's care for yourself like you would care for someone dependent on you. And if I had that initially, that would have been like, what does that even mean? That's too soft. It sounds like you're in a fucking retirement home or something like that.
Yeah.
What does that mean? You should be getting after it. You should be, watching what's going into your system, out of your system. Now I've changed it to this because I think it gets me into the mind state of, say I had my mum, for example, when she was very dependent on me and my family. What's the best way to care for her in that state? It's not to like be trying to like hustle, get her to fucking like work hard and have like the best eating habits and things like that. But, and so it's like, I'm not going to try and force her to eat things that she didn't want to eat. But also, I was taking her out for walks. I was regularly taking her to her gym sessions with a personal trainer, trying to get more vegetables and stuff into her diet, but also like, allowing her to be her own person and as much as she could be and eat what she wants to eat. So
Sure.
For now, it's kind of like, this is a bit of an acknowledgement, like, okay, I'm getting older. There are certain things, injuries, stuff, which are popping up more. Building strength, if I still had building strength in there, I would probably still be trying to do the squat and deadlift points, which I had initially written. And it's like,
kind of like
it's a failure. You got rid of them, Kyrin. Like, you're weak. You're weak. You're not strong. Whereas now it's like, okay, that's a change where, if I'd looked back at it in the past and I had this goal now, I probably would have just been like, I don't understand what that means.
You would have changed it and been like, nah, this is too soft. I need to like make it more appropriate for where you are.
Yeah.
And I think that's so, those changes, and I can talk about I haven't done any direct changes into my ones, but I can see that I'm about to change. It's slightly in a different way, but it all, so generally, if someone's listening to us talking about this, you might be thinking, oh shit, as I listen to these two talk about, going to more of a caring aspect, or maybe it sounds a little bit softer. I think it's very much but it's a position in time where now this is more appropriate, and you wouldn't have gotten to there if you hadn't done the aims or the achievements or the goals that you had set originally. So I think when we're trying to, like when we're talking about this, it's not that they were bad, not that they were wrong. It was just in 2016 Kyrin, like that was the optimal description of what you wanted. And now as years have gone by and experience have happened, you've gone, okay, I can see now where the tweaks are needed for the current Kyrin now to continue on either, finding the partner, looking after the body, being aware of, what masculinity and femininity means and the actions that I'm taking. So I think for me, when I was starting to look at, especially my eminent human being levels, which are very, I won't say not set in stone, but they're very descriptive with numbers and positions and awareness. Some of them, like the fitness body aspect of it, is to be known for physical prowess or fitness. Now, there's not like a set number of people that know or percentage in the world that are like better at or anything. They've got all these evolutions to it, and some have like direct numbers to, earnings or net income or the ability to know oneself, right?
Sure.
I don't think I'm ever going to change these. And I've 2 or 3 times I've reflected upon them and gone like, okay, could I update them to something else, to something different? Like maybe aim for something else. And I don't know if this is a good or bad thing yet, but every time I reflect on it, I kind of review it and I go, no, it still holds true. Like it's still what I would consider an eminent human being path. So I went, okay, they're not changing for me anytime soon, it feels like. And so, but again, I do my annual goals and my monthly goals, especially so the annual goals then come off the back of, if I want to try and achieve level 2 to level 3, I create annual goals that help me get to that level that I'm creating, and then monthly goals go alongside with that.
Have you achieved any that you would say like, the whole point you had of the different levels was so that you've got these probably like intangible ones that are very hard to define right at the top. But are there any that you feel you've made really big progress on and you're kind of almost there or most of the way done?
Yeah, I think since I began doing that type of eminent human being, I think the mind went up by 2 levels, the body's gone up by a level, and soul's gone up by a level. So out of 5, I guess it's like a good enough percentage. Achieving level 5 should technically be like next to impossible in the scheme, kind of like bell curve, trying to reach like the very top end percentage. It should be so ridiculously crazy that it might not ever happen, but it's the aspiration to go for it and always having a goal.
Yep.
But the bit where the language, and in this particular case, I'm thinking and I talked about it recently with that generators versus trophies, is that at the annual goal levels, and even if I reflect on the ones that I just literally recently did, I still have some where it's specific, like I want to do 12 of these and I want to do 6 of these and I want to achieve 6 times body weight, 3 rep, that sort of behavior. And I go, again, it's not a bad thing. And so this is just coming to a position in my life where things are changing, similar to how you got with your version, where the tweak I'm thinking is going to have to change is it served me really well when I was in my 20s and probably right as I turned 30, because I wanted to do a half marathon, I wanted to achieve this income, or I wanted to do all those things. It was great because I think I needed that like very direct target to aim at and find the habits and the actions to do it. Fantastic. But I'm just now in a position of life where, for the next couple of years, I'm going to have young kids. And so there's certain trade-offs you would have to do if you were to just randomly put like, I want to achieve and insert really high income. Okay. With that will probably come time away from the family, and it's something that I probably don't want to do, right? So there's going to be those trade-offs that I know myself I'm not going to do. Fine. So what does that mean again, effectively? I think the annual goals, and I might even shift them midway as I'm doing it, or maybe I'll wait till the following one. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe I'll do it at the monthly goals, is that the language that I use or the words, I think really now has to change from the thing I'm wanting to achieve, aka I want to do 12 recordings of high signal, whatever, and changing it to what is the action, the habit, the thing that generates that to occur. And it could be, it's a very simple change, but I think in the same way that if I read it, I think now it would impact and help me address that better than what it is currently. So right now when I'm seeing, I want to do 12 high signals, I want to do, do this projection paradox or do this. It's like, it's good, and younger one might have been able to say like, do these deadlifts or do this program. But I think now it's probably needed. And again, I've got to think it through as how I write it, but it's more the behavior and the action. And it might be like, look a week ahead of every week and schedule in an hour that you can go and do that particular thing, right? So it's like, that's the actual action that will help it do. So it's more towards what are those generators, what are the habits that I still have to set up, or all of the actions that I would normally write the goal and then kind of think of the behaviors that I have to do for it and kind of spinning it and going like, yep, having an idea or an awareness. I think it always helps to have a set goal in mind, but then leave it to the side and go, yep, but just absolutely hammer in on the behaviors or the actions or things I've got to do. Forget about the ultimate outcome of that. Let that just ensue by doing that. And I think it's a very small change. And when you come to like, it's almost the opposite of manifesting in a way. Not fully the opposite, but it's like, when people say like, oh, I want to be, I'm going to manifest it this morning. I'm going to have like a fantastic run, or, money's going to come to me. And I'm kind of almost going the opposite, where it's like, just forget thinking about money coming or, being successful at whatever. It's more just focus on like, hey, the behavior is a 1 minute stretch and 5 minutes looking at the horizon. And so that will ensue in maybe better eyesight and better mobility and better movement, all those things, but they'll come from the habits. So I'm playing around with what that might look like specifically, but I dare say it'll probably happen at the monthly goals first, where you'll start, as an example, this monthly goal I've got in October is like run 160 kilometers, right? So it's a very like direct goal, which again, it's not a bad goal, and the language of it is fine, and younger one would have like thrived under that because it goes like, I've got to hit this almost like no matter what.
Sure.
But changing it slightly, and again, how I change that, I've got to work with it, but into like, just what's the behavior, what's the action, what's the thing that's going to keep it interesting, so that when I look at it, it's kind of like reading some of those sheets. It kind of goes, that's the sort of identity, human behavior that you should do. Cool, I'm just going to go and do that, and it'll ensue that more kilometers will be done or whatever else.
Yeah. So the thing you brought up there was, run or money is coming to me. Imagine for my goal for partner, I'd written like woman or girl who is XYZ or something. I think putting the noun as your starting point, even just like reading the sentence, like it's very basic, but you're starting with this object in mind already of like, this is where I got to get to. What I've changed mostly for all of these is the starting word, and it's a verb, all of them. So it used to be find, create, establish, build, create, experience, become continuously, was it? Now it's like for the partner, bond. For relationships, forge. So for that one, forge a tight-knit family, friendship group that helped me be a better person. That has changed from where I was talking about a tight-knit family tribe that I can lead and protect, who are loyal and trustworthy when called upon. This is one of those ones where it's like, I just want people around me who are going to help me be better. Like, they don't need to have certain traits, because, someone who's loyal, you could have like a loyal gang member and they'll fucking like,
true.
Maybe if I want loyalty and trustworthiness, that's where I should be going to, fucking join a gang. Is that going to be helpful for me? Probably not. Who knows? Maybe if you're a gangbanger out there, let me know. Hit me up in the comments. So I've changed that. Instead of create, it's like forge. That for me is more of a creating's more of a like a, what would you call it? Like an action where I'm putting the words to this is hard. Forging for me just feels like if it's family and friends, that requires more of a bit of a grit to it. Like, you're forging something. You are creating something, but creating can be very
you're like toiling away to make it.
Like, let's create a friendship group by fucking doing interpretive dance outside and like doing all this spontaneous stuff. Whereas I definitely want one that's more like, okay, no, we've been through some things. I've helped make this the group that I want it to be as well. So the other stuff, health has gone from build to care. So that's a pretty easy one. Like, obviously now, like I mentioned, injuries are a much more important thing. Looking after myself is more important than trying to build up something. Travel used to be experience. Now it's settle. I've done a lot of the experience. Like I've gone to different countries of the world. Now it's settle in a location that's safe, but continue to seek varied experience. So I can still have that in there, but it's not the main focus. It's switched a little bit. So that's the one I've probably ticked off the most in terms of travel.
Yeah.
And also we were talking in the monthly goals just before, I don't have language learning in any of them anymore. Will it come back someday? Maybe. But that one I feel like I've done as much as I really want to in that. And so it's not serving me to do a 3-month trip every year to experience the world, where it's like, well, yeah, but I want a family. I want to settle down.
Yeah.
Like
it's hard to go against like some of the other like important things that are coming up in life.
Yeah. I'll just go through these last ones because there's almost done with them. Become a strong-willed, confident man with a set of principles that guide my decision-making. That's changed from, so that's what it is now. It used to be become a strong-willed, masculine man, once again, masculine, with a set of principles that define my being. Kind of just a bit too iffy for me. Like, what does that mean? Do I have, in all this time, have I got a principles sheet that define my being? No, I've never done that. So that's obviously like not really what I'm trying to do, I guess, or what I'm that interested in. And the last one was the knowledge skills was kind of self-referential, because I used to say continuously update the knowledge skills for practical everyday life and to help me achieve these other things. Nowadays, it's just continuously improve my capabilities in practical everyday life. So just work on things. Gives me a bit of more of a broader stretch to be like, yeah, you know what, AI, that's something important. That's going to help me in everyday life. Or Ray-Ban meta glasses, experiencing those. Where's technology going? Things like that. That's all kind of wrapped up in those now. So
yeah. Like even as an example, so let's just say in my 20s, one of the goals that I might have had in relation to mind or to learning might have been to become expert's probably a strong word, but become knowledgeable in AI or do this course or finish this thing, right? Which again, it's a good goal. It's specific enough. You make it specific enough, measure it, make it time bound, be able to assess it. All those things to make it a smart goal. Fine, you can do that. And I think it served me well in my 20s, but it serves me less so now, either because I'm just someone who might want to flex with the things that I'm learning, and I might like not complete things. So like this is more now knowing myself in that I will be pretty quick in moving between things that are of interest to me. I start to shift and okay, rather than putting an annual goal, which for me a year is like, that's a big domain of time for it to always be consistent apart from a very few things in life, where I might start changing it to, talk or learn or, spend a certain amount of time every week on learnings or things that interest me. And so, yes, that might be AI or the Ray-Ban stuff for a little while, and then it might translate to something else. But to me, the important thing now is the underlying action of continuing learning, right? Continuing those processes independent of the specific domain of knowledge that it is. I don't care. It's more the act of doing it.
It's the meta goal in a sense where it's, you could set one which was related to something you really cared about in the past. For yourself, maybe it was the driving, for example. Like I want to get better at the VR simulator driving or sim racing. Yep. That lasted for not too long.
Correct.
It's away in the corner. Don't know where it is.
Yep.
It used to be around here.
Yeah.
But maybe, so if you'd put that as a particular one, that wouldn't have served you that well, because then you'd be like, oh, all right, I'd feel kind of obligated to do this because I said I would do it in the past. Whereas maybe it was like, no, I just want to, expand my mind, to try something new, try and get better at something which I'm not good at the moment.
Exactly. So it's like the I wouldn't have been able to do this in my 20s well, because there was still a lot of, and probably everyone goes through that, just discovering, understanding who you are. You might become good at something, you might not become good at something. The type of friendship groups, the individuals, your work, whatever you do, right? All of these things determine how to shift now, and everyone will go through it at some point. You'll just get a shift in life. It's the next stage of life, and I'm a bit more settled, and there's more routine. And again, it starts to change the behaviors, the things I do want to do, what I don't want to do, what I've got time for. And I think it just, my 27, 28, 29-year-old annual goals, they were like phenomenal. I saw progress in the sense of like I was achieving them, doing them, well worded, all the actions are there, I'm achieving all the things. The last couple of years, I think I've continued to try to be similar to that. And while I have done it and it has continued to help me aim for things and made me do things, I've gone, maybe the last couple of years, almost either like, I wanted to change that, or okay, that didn't work out as well. And I think it's that I've got to probably work a little bit harder at the actual meta reality of why I'm wanting to do things. So as an example with that, car simulation, racing stuff, I think if I really should have looked at that deeply and gone, like, what's actually underlying that? And it might have been, I want to find more balance. It could have been more balance between, work to play ratio. It might be more balance in just doing, a variety thing. It might have been, do I just want to do something different that I haven't been doing before, right? And if I described it in that language better, then, I might still have done the car simulation piece, let's just say, but I might have not, or I might have been more fluid with like, I'll do that sometime, but then I'll do this, and I'm accomplishing what I'm trying to do. And then the emergent thing that would come out is that the goal that you originally was after, and again, it might have been just to do the sim racing, but I think it really was more around, finding more fun. That would have just come as ensuing because I'm having these behaviors put in place. So, I'm saying all this in it's like moving into this new space where I've done goal setting for such a long time in a way that really benefited me and going after goals. And now I'm entering this new stage of life where they're serving me okay, but I think I can do it in a better way with a bit of a shift in language because it's the first time I'm doing it too. It's like, how exactly do I do this? And I think I've had now a couple of goes of annual goals where they have served, but they could be better. And so I think this is more like, it was more an open conversation today on going, language is important. Yeah, I get the whole concept of like manifesting it into reality. I guess the particular ploy I'm kind of saying is I just want to write it down in ways that it's very clear behaviors, very clear actions, very clear, what are the habits and the things that you got to do so that all the rest of the things will just fall in line because you're putting those things in place.
Yeah, I think part of this is, the long-term goals. I could hear someone arguing, why don't you just go, okay, you've achieved your VR sim one, get rid of it and put another one in. It's like, okay, yeah, sure. Anyone can do anything. There's no right or wrong in this, unless you're doing it not our way, in which case you're wrong. But the main thing is like long-term goals. I haven't touched this for 8 years. So I first created all this in 2016. And then I did like a section here where in 2018, 2019, I created a whole list of things where it's like, actually, no, this was in 2016 as well. So yeah, 8 years, I haven't touched this. And then it's like, okay, what, I only want to touch it in really like long time periods where I can have a, deep think of it and go, okay, this isn't helping me now. And I don't want to be touching it every fucking month, questioning like, is this right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
That's what the short-term stuff is. And that's more already top of mind. Like, all right, I feel like I need to be doing this to get me closer to this longer one, the yearly one, which is linked to this one. It's kind of almost like an attention game in a respect, or it's also like respecting your own time of, okay, here's what I said I wanted to do. It's like a big stretch thing. It's not going to be achieved easily. And I don't want to continuously be trying to like fuck with like the fundamentals.
Oh, yeah. And like here we're talking about some of the fundamentals as in like our core concepts. And I agree. I'm talking about it now, but realistically, yeah, and I'll probably will shift and transition and change it a little bit. But then I shouldn't be touching it until the next evolution of life, which might be, my kids being going to move out of home, something like that, right?
Yeah.
So it's like...
So the family principles that you're what do you call it? Family philosophy.
Yeah, the family, that's kind of like the last bit I wanted to like talk about was it is highly likely. So again, I do my mind, body and soul break down as like the 3 big categories, and I've done my eminent human being from level 1 to level 5. And what I'm toying with the idea, and again, shifting to those different ones that you're saying is, do I remove those eminent human being, mind, body, and soul, and go with this new ones, which is like, brave in thought, strong in body, fierce in love, obsessed in life, which I guess would be
TBD. Might change.
Yeah. So like, it could be exactly that.
TBC
to be confirmed, needs to be reviewed. But that's like thought, mind. There's body. There's love in there, which is a little bit separate to soul, and then there's like obsession in life, and I guess that could be experiences and everything else.
Sure.
So part of me starts to be like, okay, this is kind of like feeling like the next evolution. Does that change my eminent human being that I've noted down? Maybe not. And not
you
again.
can have joint ones with other people, and then you can have separate ones for yourself. There's nothing wrong with that.
For sure. But again, it's just it's an example here of going, what served me for many, many years could continue to serve me well, but there's a real transition of life that happens at probably multiple points in life. I'm sure we'll discover them as we get older as well. I'm just in that one where I need to shift things, I think, to it. And the more I'm talking about it now, the more it's becoming like obvious in my mind. I think it's time to change those eminent human beings slightly. And again, it's going to be like, as you've done there, it's not that it was wrong. It was just cool. They served me to a certain point in life.
Yep.
I'm now time to evolve what that looks like. I think Matthew McConaughey, I think it's Matthew, says like a good line when he was doing a speech something, and when like someone asks him, who's your hero? And he goes, it's me 10 years in the future. And then they ask him 10 years in the future, like, are you your hero now? And he's like, no, my hero is 10 years in the future. Yeah. Something to that concept where it's like, you got to set it out like a plan. And again, after a certain amount of time, you'll then be able to kind of review and, recalibrate and go, oh, actually it's now this slightly different vector of path in life. And that's what you take. And that's not wrong. It's just, it was at a point and now it's going to change. So I think mine, if I'm going to be direct, I think my eminent human, the language will be similar, but it'll probably be a different breakdown and categorization, which will then lead to changes in the annual goals to come that are more like behavior. Like you would have heard there when I was just saying, I'll give you an example of just like the obsessed in life. Some of the sub things in there is like shop every day, no matter what. Chase improvement, relentless.
Shop every day.
Show up every day, no matter what. Show up. Shut up.
I was like, Jesus Christ, grocery shopping is that important?
No,
Jesus.
show up every day, no matter what. Chase improvement relentlessly. Things that go, oh, cool. They encourage me to, again, independent of what I'm doing, it's like the actual behaviors and activities and actions I want to do and take. And so I think what you'll probably see, not now, I think I'll continue out these annual goals and complete it out. But I think there'll be some overall changes in the same way that you've been doing that'll start shifting that lens of how I approach life.
Beautiful. Yeah. Excited to hear
so
it.
there's big changes there. All right, I might just jump onto Boostagram Lounge.
Yeah. And then after that, I've got a quick little thought of just verbalizing manifesting, but it shouldn't take too long.
Okay.
It's coming on, people. It's coming on. Why is it coming on? Well, the Chuck's cloth beanie is on. Does my voice sound crisper and cleaner as I have it
absolutely.
on? I think so as well. Oh, wait.
We got a message from Peter. So, we talked about this one from Peter?
I think we already had that one.
Okay, cool. Okay. We'll do Cole's one. Cole sent through at 3:17 a.m. At our time. I'm getting leaner along with Kyrin. I'm experimenting with hot yoga too. My first session is on Monday. We will see how it goes and how I feel.
Love it. That's super exciting.
How did it go, Cole? Tell us how hot yoga was. And he sends 1,111 sats and using Fountain.
Monday, that'll be in...
yes.
Tomorrow, Monday.
You'll have to let us know how hot yoga went. So you're getting leaner. Good. Yeah. Along with Kyrin. I wish you both the best with your leanness.
What was it? 29th. Maybe we didn't read Peter's. 29th. So that would have been...
I think I might have said it to you directly.
Yeah, no, we didn't put it on the podcast. So,
okay. So
Peter,
let me read. Yeah.
Apologies. It's coming now.
And Peter's, he sent to 2,222 sats says in the founding, row of ducks. Peter's I was playing this episode in the car, and this is when we're talking about Kyrin's annual goals today. And Sue said she was surprised to hear Kyrin was still single. He seemed like such a sweet guy. I can't help but agree.
Notice the past tense. He seemed.
We talked on the actual Discord.
Peter in person.
We talked on the Discord channel quite a bit about this as well, by the way. So obviously, if you want to see what that chatter was about, go in there.
Sure.
But appreciate it, Peter, as well. For
thank you, Peter.
The boost, and with you, Cole, and all the best, and leaning down.
Yeah. Cole's he'll look good. Lean.
He'll look down.
He's a strong boy. Young Cole. Strong, tall. Forget how tall he is, but yeah. Exciting to hear, man. I love when people start doing a change to their fitness journey as well. Yeah, do tell us about the hot yoga. I think it'll be up his alley, but also hard.
I think I've ever done.
Not sure I don't believe Cole's super flexible. So
yeah, okay. I'm with you there, Cole. I'm with you there.
It'll test you. What I wanted to bring up with the verbalizing portion, and this relates to Comic-Con, which I went to. One Punch Man over here. So the way that came about was something I'd just, how would I say this? The verbalizing, even just that word, so putting thoughts into words. We already talked about the importance just before of verbs, as in like having a verb as your kind of long-term goal, rather than the noun, the thing that you're trying to achieve, even if they can be very similar. That switch I think is useful. And the way it came about was I was just chatting with a friend in the gym, Nick. Hadn't seen him for a while, and he was the one who actually brought it up at first and said something related. We're talking about some random topic, and then he mentioned Comic-Con, just as like an offhand thing. And I just verbalized what went through my head, which was, you know what, I've always thought about going to that, but I've never done it. And I didn't need to say that. It's almost like a complaint in a way, because he could have just said, why don't you go then? Yeah. But instead he was kind of like, you know what, I had a very similar thing as well. I've never been. And just, that was the moment where people say this all the time. You can verbalize something and nothing comes about of it, but then taking action. And this is where I took action, and I went, okay, let me see when the next one is in Brisbane. And then it was like perfectly conveniently a month later. I just showed him then, and I was like, dude, do you want to go to this? He's like, yeah, sure. Yeah, let's go. And so it was one of those ones where just the simple act of kind of like throwing it out there made it happen. And I had another one which kind of could have happened where it also leads into each other. So then I'd go to Comic-Con the next week, talking to people in the gym, and a guy there, I said like, oh yeah, I went to the Comic-Con. It was interesting, talking about it. And then he said he brought something about the Sexpo, also another thing where I'm like, oh yeah, sure, I'd go to that someday. Yeah. And I followed up the same thing. It was like, oh, do you want to go? Like, when's the next one? And he was keen. With him, it didn't like transpire. And I think Jake's left the gym now, so I'm not sure I'll see him again, at least for a foreseeable future. But what are your thoughts on, you've got something, let's say you're writing down goals like we have here. We now verbalize them a lot with the actual podcast and say, for this, it's on this. What are your thoughts on if you were just doing goal setting and writing things down? Is it okay to just have it written down, or do you think you need to speak it into action, in some shape or form? Yeah,
I can see the statement being made about verbalizing it being good. I think it would, at least for me, it kind of doesn't matter if I was to verbalize it with like a big group of people or like just a wider range of people. It would matter if
even to yourself, if you're in your room, I've got this little sheet that I now read out to
Well, this is what I was going to say. If I verbalize it with myself, no anything different than just the behavior of writing it. If I verbalize it though with like immediate people that I actually care about, like they give a damn about some of the things, then maybe there's a little bit more stringency or like expectation on it. So, the simple one is if I was to verbalize the running volume one, let's just say, for instance, with my wife, it's probably a little bit better because it helps, keep me in tune. And if I, for whatever reason, I say on a Saturday, I do want to do a long run and I don't, or I sleep in or something else, that there's a little bit more of responsibility at how, like, I verbalize it to this person and they're not seeing me follow up with that behavior. Okay, that I can see that. But for myself personally, nah. Like, I'll probably say there wouldn't be like any delta difference between me writing it and like verbalizing it to myself. Sure. And I've definitely tried that, not with goals, by my maxims. Like I've got like a list of maxims that I've built up over time. I've both read them. I've both both vocally and just like in my mind, I guess, reading them through. There's no real difference in doing that myself.
For me, I think the ACT is somewhat useful for some. So in particular, I guess what you'd call harder ones, no porn, for example. If I had said that to myself, I think it can also be, maybe verbalizing is maybe not the best way of, but getting it out of your head. So writing it down, it's not verbalizing it, but instead of just having in my head, like, this next month, I'm going to have no porn or no masturbation this next month, whatever it is. I think if you just think that, that's not strong enough. Your thoughts are too ephemeral. You can't have, maybe there's some people who are just locked in stone. They think something and it's set. I'm certainly not one of those where I could find wiggle room around that. Oh, okay,
I get you. Yep.
It's not porn, but maybe like I can look at some girls on like Instagram and like, oh, if they've got a bikini on, that's fine. Or like, oh, if it's like if it's a G-string, that's fine. You can go down the whole rabbit hole until you're watching porn where the girls are fully clothed and it's like, oh, that's totally fine. So definitely I would advocate writing it down. I think the next step is just like an additional little bit can be the verbalizing it. The other bit was just thoughts into actions was the experience I had yesterday in the gym where girl is on the hip thrust, lady, I don't know, girl, lady. It's that age where it's like, it's hard to say. And I just said something random. I think it was like, oh, you don't like that one next to me? Because she kind of looked like she was umming and awing about going on this one versus the other one. And, that's just pure verbalization. Did I want to, potentially get to know her? Was this like the lifelong partner? In this case, no, because she's got a husband and a kid. But starting off with that's not going to be like super helpful for me. And in turn, just by starting off with what went through my head, which was like, oh, do you not like that one over there? Because I also don't like that one because it's got this fucking rig around it and it's fucking annoying. Turned into a really good conversation. She's actually really into goal setting and, she's got like an e-commerce business. So very similar, she even has a long-term goal around spirituality and around finance, like very, very similar to especially how I do, but how we do in general. The tiers as well, like the long-term, yearly. I think she was even better than us. She had 5-year, 3-year, 1 year, monthly or something. So, yeah, Eugenie, freaking rock solid.
Damn.
But that was another one where I just went, the simple act of just saying what is a completely inane, dare I even say unhelpful thought. Oh, you don't like that one over there? Like, maybe that for her, if she was in a different state of mind, be like, what a useless comment. What is this? Like, why would you even say that? But in turn, it actually led to a really fun conversation and a good connection.
I was going to say, because part as you were just talking through then about like, verbalizing something, the bottom line, like whatever it might take so that what you think and what you say and what you do are all aligned, fuck it. Do whatever it is that it takes, right? And if that means verbalizing something, do it. If it means, keeping it to yourself because that's what achieves it, do it. So,
you could get a strength from knowing that other people don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So, I've often, when I was much younger, I would say a lot of things like, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to accomplish something. And maybe 2 out of 10 things would be done, or 2 out of freaking 100 things would be done, right? And then I went through a big phase and probably still continue where I don't share all the things I'm doing, and I might just be like, hey, this has been done. And it's like, oh shit, you never even like mentioned it.
Yeah.
Some of it has like, and again, going back to the core concept of what I think, what I say, and what I do. Okay, well, in some of those aspects, maybe I'm saying it to very, like my wife basically, or my daughter, right? But whatever it takes so that what I'm thinking, what I'm saying, and what I'm doing is all aligned, then I'm good. And sometimes that might mean that you use a tactic of, vocalizing it. I don't potentially that often with like goals and whatnot, but other people would. So obviously, if you listen to this, try it out to see if it actually functions like that. But in your case, you were thinking something, you said it, and also sometimes with your activities like they're doing with the Comic-Con, it was like, yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to follow through with it.
Yeah.
So it was the fact that you thought about it, you vocalized it, and you did it, that then helps you, you went through an experience, you ended up being on a boat, the tail end of it. So
it was on a boat.
A lot of those things, you're not going to get to happen unless you go and follow through on all three things. And I think when you've got them misaligned, so really, especially it's like with your goal, right? No porn. If you go, that's what I'm thinking. Like, and you vocalize it, but then you don't do it, right? When you have some of those out of sync, like you kind of feel shit about yourself. That's where you start, you start breaking down your identity or what you think or what you can achieve because you're not aligned. If you hadn't vocalized it, say you think it, you don't vocalize it, but you do it, maybe that's okay still because you just didn't talk about it. But if you verbally were like just saying it something completely different, being like, you're thinking, I'm not going to do porn. I'm watching it all the time.
Yeah.
But then you're actually not doing it. Is it still good? Maybe like you're trying to throw like everyone off the scent and come back at the end and be like, I actually did it. I don't know. Maybe that's a bit of a weird one.
That'd be a funny one.
Sorry, but in any case, I think it's and even the way that I described that, which I think is how I want to try to alternate some of my annual goals, is dig deep underneath to find like the really foundational core things those are the core things that I should be aiming for, and then the behaviors around that. Yeah. Again, this is all a learning thing, folks. So if you're listening to this and you've got any tips and tricks, maybe in particular for us, maybe you're older and you go, you know what, guys, I went through that phase, now I'm on that particular phase, and I can tell you in my experience, this, and this, wonderful. If you are younger and you disagree with this, I'm telling you, it will change. It will change. Life changes. Unless you're one of those people who stay acting like a teen or a 20-year-old for the rest of your life. There's some people out there and they enjoy it. Fine. Maybe you won't go through that phase. But I think for most people, there's a definitive, like Tony Robbins calls it your quarters in life. Others call it different things. There's the seasons of life. There's actually the definitive namings to all these things. If you actually want to look at it in that range, it's just mine's changing. Yours is altering and changing as well. Language is an important part of that. And however it is that you talk about it with yourself, with others, super important. And more so now, I think, than it used to be in the past. Yeah.
As a final stab in the back to the manifesting that we talked about, you might be going, they talked about manifesting very positively here. Here's the fucking shank. The problem with manifesting is they get the thought right, they get the saying right, but then they don't do the doing part, and that's always been the problem with manifesting for me. I want more abundance in my life. You can think it, you can say it, but unless you're taking steps to actually make it happen as well, then sure, it might happen through luck of getting a lottery or something. But
but this is like
very, very.
You can think it.
Yeah.
You can think it. You can vocalize it. Yeah, you can say like, I want to be successful. I want to be the eminent human being. I want to be an abundant life. But you don't do. You're missing something there, and I think that's key. So I think the vocalizing bit is less a priority. Like, yeah, it is what you say is important in a way, but at least in my mind, it's like what you think and what you do. Like that's a really important. The vocal bit, yeah, you can probably like shift and change a little bit depending on who you are, but think about something and actually do the thing.
Yeah,
so.
I find the vocalization bit helpful for when I'm with other people, and it's more about just conveying information of. This is what I'm working on, and if other people are interested in it, they can join in, jump in. But if not, that's also fine.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to leave it there. Neil Morland, thank you very much. Is there any other comments to address anything there?
Just other Cole saying time to manifest.
Time to manifest, indeed. Yes, we are improving our language. If you want to support us, once again, folks, you can use all the new podcasting platforms out there. We can send through a Boostagram like Peter and Cole did. You can send through some streams. Yeah. You can send through something via Patreon. No, not Patreon, sorry.
PayPal. meremortalspodcasts.com/support. Our page to go to.
And again, word of mouth, sharing with others, always very important. You'll find us thinking, doing, and acting and vocalizing things as we go. But again, if you've got any feedback for us on some of this monthly goals and the way that we set out our language and conversations, tell us. It would help us as well.
For sure.
So we'll leave it there. Immortal Lights, be well, wherever you are in the world. One out.
Kyrin out. Bye.
Good.